to you. Today is Tuesday, the 23rd of June, 2026. My name is Francisco Gaffney, and this is my daily streaming all about governance, risk, compliance, and advisory boards. So today I'm at the top of the operating model of the advisory board operating system. The model that you see in front of you is a commercial acceleration, the scaling. So in the advisory board operating system, scale connects with brand, with people, and partnerships. So let me highlight this portion so we focus on the things that are important for us today. So there's a commercial acceleration, the scaling of the business, the brand, the people, and the partnership, right? Okay, so that is important because most people hear scale and think sell more, right? But selling more is not always scalable. Sometimes selling more only creates more strain or more problems or more issues or growing pains, as they call it. So the phones, you might hear that, the rings more, you as a founder are pulled into more calls, the team needs more support, clients need more hand holding, delivery gets stretched, the culture gets thinner because people start to get stressed a lot. And because of that, mistakes take longer to fix because it's all in a constant turmoil, right? So that is not really scaling. That is a louder version of the same business, but disguised as scaling. So let's take a look at three problems with this. Problem number one is the company adds headcount before it builds assets. And this is very, very important. More people join, but the business still lacks clear onboarding, clear roles, clear methods, and clear decision rules. So new people do not multiply capacity, right? So what they do, they multiply questions. How I do this? Who is training this? Who I need to talk to this? A plethora of questions actually create more issues and problems and distract the people that actually had a methodology, a process, but they learn by themselves. They have their own spreadsheets, they have their own notes, they have their own ways to source business or connect with customers or partners. Problem number two is that the brand still depends too much on you as a founder. You, as a founder, you are the story, the trust signal, and the sales shortcut. So that feels useful, but it means the brand has not fully moved from you as a person to a company, right? So it's different talking about something actually can relate to a surname or to a person than say, this is our company's brand, this is our offering, right? And problem number three is that the partnerships stay informal. And this is your distribution system, your channels, your added value resellers, you name it. So the business has good relationships, but not enough structure around them. No clear partner maps, no shared rules, no handover process, no measure of what each partnership creates. And that makes growth feel promising, but at the same time, it's quite fragile because if you are not there all the time, bridging these conversations, pretty much somebody in your team cannot finish or close those businesses. So in other words, imagine a kind of a restaurant where the head chef is also taking bookings, greeting guests, checking everything on every plate, training the new team, and negotiating with the suppliers. So the restaurant may be busy, that's correct, and even it might be very popular, but it cannot scale because too much of the quality is tied to only one person, which is a chef. And you cannot be in the same place, you cannot be in two places at the same time. So it's very hard to multiply a business when you cannot be there at the same time for very hot topics of issues. So as a board advisor, what I would propose to consider is the following. Use the advisory board to separate growth pressure from scale capacity. So the advisory board should ask, what do we need to build so growth does not keep landing on you, the founder? So that might be brand guidelines, so the market hears the same message without you as a founder having to explain this every single time. And this is a case I've been dragging, if you may, or like been working for the past couple of months, where the founder have a very, very brilliant business, but is so close to do everything himself that actually it doesn't allow to the rest of the team to expand and tap into the amount of opportunities around him. Because the founder had to be in everything and everywhere. He believes that actually he is the engine that brings the company to the next level. But here's the other challenge. It might be a sales playbook that they need, so the commercial team can qualify, explain, and close without their constant rescue. And we suggested that, and even though was not done, because they say, no, I had to be in every sale because this is important. It is important, but it's not your job anymore. It might be the stronger people model that actually we also suggested. So new hires know what good looks like from week one, but they say, no, I have to be with them all the time because they know, they see me working. But guess what? People have different personalities. Your charm, your personality, your energy is not the same of the person that you're coaching, mentoring, or transferring the knowledge. So what they are going to learn, a methodology, a process, a system where they can imprint their own selves to make it better, or make it work, or they're going to try to copy something that they are not going to achieve ever in their life, because it's like how can I put this? It's like a round peg on the square hole, right? So it might be the partnership map that actually we also suggested. So they key relationships become business asset, not private relationships. But no, he needs to be in every single call with all their partners because I know these are my mates. And unfortunately, this is business. It's not a pop conversation anymore. So the board should also challenge whether the business has the right level of talent around you as a founder. So at a certain stage, you as a founder should not be the best person at everything. That is not a weakness. That is progress, right? So the advisory board helps you as a founder to ask different questions. Where do I need someone better than me as a founder, right? So somebody that can do things better than me in that specific area. So where do I need a sharper operator, strong commercial lead, a better finance mind, a better people builder, stronger system thinking, and so on and so forth. So this is a hard shift because many founders are used to being the strongest person in the room, which is right to this point. But scale needs specialists. It needs people who improve the machine, not only those who work inside it. So the advisory board role is put it this way, a calm challenge, a thoughtful test, a different perspective that enables the business to move forward. And here are some uncomfortable labels that are useful that shows what I mean by challenges, test, and perspective. And here's there are a few ones. So if it sounds like you are hiring people to absorb pressure, how does that build capability, right? So what they are doing there? Or if it seems like the brand is trusted, what still makes it too personal for you, right? Because if you are the brand and people knows you but doesn't really know your company as what they offer in a logo, so it's still too close to you. Or if it feels like the partnerships are valuable, who do you know that is, or how do you know that what this partnership is transferred to the next in your team, to the next person is going to manage the partners? And you have to do it, right? So this is example that I mentioned already. So what do you gain working with me? There's three things: outcomes, differentiators, and risk reduction. In terms of business outcomes, it's a cleaner scale. I mean a cleaner scale. So the brand, the people, and the partnership that start working as assets. So they don't need you anymore. So pretty much you can detach yourself from every single thing that is going on in your company. In terms of differentiator, it's an advisory board that built around the stage you are in. And today, particularly, we are speaking about commercial acceleration, scaling, which is your brand, your people, and your brand, your people. Oh, escape me. And your partnership, right? So that's where we gain with that advisory board around this section. So you get international advisory board expertise, faster implementation than hiring one executive, lower overhead than a big consulting firm, and talent locked in. So, and what I mean the talent locked in is you can swap members. You avoid that swapping the members every 6 months, because let's assume that, or imagine that your commercial acceleration is established in a year. the talent that you have in advisory board, you need to swap it for the next stage, which is growing. So when you're going to raise capital, when you need revenues or strategies or intellectual property experts, right? So the commercial acceleration is done, it's documented, it's working, is at pace. It's not the same expertise for intellectual property. So then we have to change the members as we need it. And that is a big differentiator because you don't want locked in talent in your advisory board. And in terms of risk reduction, it's a cultural drift, and you as a founder stop being the bottleneck. It's a change that you have to avoid, the drift, like if things are going as a growing pains. So growth often breaks through people and culture first. And the advisory board helps you see the strengths before the team pays the price. And I mentioned this word because, or this phrase, because it's very common. Because if you're saying to your teams, well, these are the growing pains, it's more than likely that there is a lack of control, a lack of certainty, and the project structure as the change management cannot be explained, but only justified as growing pains, right? Okay, so let's try to put this together in very practical terms and what to do next. One action you can take home today, and it's doable in 30 minutes or less. Write down, let me put the model so we have a visual cue here. That's our little helper, how to put it in a one pager. So here's the model. So write down the last 3 times you as a founder had to step into to save a deal, a client, a hire, a delivery issue, and then ask what assets was missing. I mean, assets is a system that processes the operational procedures that are not required you to be in those activities. It's a script, it's a decision rule, a better role, a partner process, a training tool, a clear promise in terms of your sellings and deliveries, etc., etc. And that is a starting point for your next scale fix, right? So at least you have in writing there, and it's a very tough exercise for some people because they say, no, I have to do it, I have to do it. No, you don't have to do it anymore. You are at a point where you really need to start to delegate certain things, and the way to do it is to put it on paper. And the first thing is not to do a whole assets, is just to put this together in this little model that you have in front of us, so it make it much easier. So let's pause here for today and reconvene tomorrow, because tomorrow we move into predictability. So that's in the right-hand side of the model, where we will look at why selling single services is often weaker than building a proper product and revenue ecosystem with your partnerships. Now, if you're a founder or in the executive team with 50 employees or more than 10 million in revenues, and you want to scale without adding avoidable pressures, let's have a 30-minute chat so I can understand where you are coming from, where you are, where you like to go. So we can build and design an advisory board around the things that you're looking for. And that will bring you 26% revenue increases and 18% more productivity, as studies shows that a designed advisory board can do for companies in this size or bigger. So it's a faster implementation than hiring one executive. It's a lower overhead than the big consulting firm. It's not talent locked in, and you have the capability to swap members as every 6 months or so as a team start to adjust and grow in that way. So have a great day, and